Hello, welcome. We're in the Third of Pleasure here in the Enchanted Kingdom of Hermione. I, as always, am your host, Zip Gun. I'm the Lord Chamberlain of the Enchanted Kingdom. And once again, got lots of new stuff to show everybody from several different sources. The Empress and I went up island to Nanaimo with the express purpose for me to go to probably my favorite record store, Fascinating Rhythm, Nanaimo, BC. If you're a record nut or a music nut who likes CDs, got lots of CDs, I never leave there without $200 leaving my wallet. But they weren't open because Nanaimo was shut down. Yes, they were making a movie in Nanaimo. And so, however, we did hit all the thrift stores. And it never disappoints. If I haven't been up this route, there's several thrift stores we hit every time we go up. And because I haven't been there in a couple of months, all the stuff I want, it just sits there. Nobody wants it. So here's the stuff. Look at this. I'll show you what I got. This is... We'll start with the stuff nobody really cares about, so we'll go through it fast. Okay, Boulez on Naxos. Yep. Piano Sonatas, didn't have it. Most of these are $2, by the way. That's a bit much for Naxos, but Boulez. Here's a good one. CPE Bach. Piano Sonatas. Trios, really, yeah. And on forte piano, which is the way I like it. Really great. This one was interesting. I almost didn't buy it. And I thought, Richard Harvey. Looked in the notes. Yes, Richard Harvey's the same guy. He was in Gryphon, the prog rock group that played on instruments. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to give that a shot. This is probably as good a recording of this as exists in the universe. I haven't checked. I might already have it. It doesn't matter. I'll give it to somebody. Songs by Peter Warlock. Now, this is on Hyperion. Hyperion, I'll buy anything. And this was in a thrift store. It was a weird thrift store. Mostly junk. I think this might have been $1. And Peter Warlock looks like he was more of a popular songwriter almost, but of that era, turn of the century. This might be really cheesy. It might be good. I don't know. We'll find out. Schumann, done by Marc-Andre Hamelin, great Canadian pianist. Love this guy. On Hyperion, fantastic recording. What's not to like? That's as good as it's going to get. Okay, that was the classical. This stuff got better, though. Now, this was over about 5 different thrift stores. Duke meets Coleman for $2. I'm buying it. I don't have it. It's great. It's classic. What do you need? Milt Jackson with Ray Brown. That's the way it is. Now, this is funny because apparently they did this every so often. They'd get together and just do a gig because they love the music. Ray is very much in the spotlight. One of the 6 tracks, is a solo, and I mean solo, bass version of Tenderly, which is really good. It's new. Mid-70s Pablo Fitzgerald with Count Basie. And if I remember right, I think Count maybe plays on one song. This is from that Pablo label from the 70s. Yeah, Count Basie plays on one song. But it's still pretty damn good. Norman Grantz's mid-70s label. Very straight stuff. Nothing too avant-garde. Always really well recorded. Recorded in Montreux. If you like straight-ahead jazz, you pretty much can't go wrong with anything on Pablo. It was done through RCA forever. Here's a good one. MPS, which is a great label. German label. And they championed pianists. Oscar Peterson did some great records for this label. And this, I haven't heard it yet, but I'll bet it's great. Recorded in the States by Sonny Lester. So, I'm not sure who would have put that up in the States. Look at this cover. The original cover. April in Paris. Verve. I mean, these are worth $2 every day of the week. And yeah, I'm running out of room. This sort of makes me, because I seem to remember Joey DeFrancesco, great Hammond player, also very good trumpet player. And he played a lot of good records. And again, the Jack McDuff, legendary organ player. Joey, this is one of his Columbia records. He did a few of these. I forget who the heck he played with again. He played with some cool people. I do believe he has passed. Rather young. But pretty much anything by this guy is worth buying in the thrift store. There, I said it. What else do we have? Okay, now we get into folk. There was a lot of folk music. And one of these, I was delighted to find Brian Bowers, in my humble opinion, the greatest auto harp player in the world. And I think this means that I now have every record of his, because he's only made a few. And I found his previous CD, which I think was 8 years previous to this one. I also found it in the thrift store. It's on Flying Fish. He does some pretty, this is interesting, because he only writes one song on it, which is a pretty good song. When you have a song, you have a friend for life. But then he does Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, Frere Jacques, Red River Valley. There's a lot of White Coral Bell, a lot of really kind of almost like children's songs. Super, super simple stuff. But it's a great record. The guy is great. Apparently he's a terrific live performer, plays folk festivals. He's probably getting on. This was interesting. Music from Thailand and Laos. Of course I'm going to buy this. It's on a label I've never heard of, File Under Southeast Asia. But what caught my eye is it's recordings by David Fanshawe. And David Fanshawe became famous for a recording he did called African Sanctus. And it was a sort of a weird underground hit in the 60s. And he did a series of similar ones, Congo-oriented ones for Philips. And he got a thing. Again, now I think this might have been $2. Oh, I graded, but I thought, you know what, it's two Bollywood movies. I don't have a lot of Bollywood. I like Bollywood. These, when I looked and saw this is from 1950 and 51, is it? Oh my God, where's my shades? Anyway, 51 and 50, yeah. I do believe they're all the same people, same composer. And like even back then, Bollywood music had everything all at once in it. The recording quality of these records is just amazing because it's so completely lo-fi, compressed, distorted. It's an amazing sound. I can't get enough of the stuff, but I kind of OD on it. And so imagine the tonic with Churgilchin. There you go, I said it. These guys are the original throat singers from Tuva. I do believe they're the guys that are in, what is it, Genghis Blues, or whatever the hell that movie was about. But, and it's easy to say, oh yeah, this was whenever we got over the throat singers. But I had sort of not really thought about these guys for a while. And I bought this just because it's on a weird label. I don't know, nature music. And it just looked a little bit strange, so I bought it. It was $2. And it's fantastic. It's just transcendent. Best record I think I bought on the trip. And then I was in and I can't remember the name of it, the lovely thrift store in Nanaimo, right in the heart of the really tough area of Nanaimo. Lovely people. Thrift store is finally closing. And I never found that much in this thrift store, but it was one of those, it was the thrift store where all the street people would go to get stuff, and run by a crew of very nice people. Well, I wish I could remember the name of it. Good Safe Harbor, or Good Harbor. I think it might have been vaguely Christian, but it wasn't overtly Christian. Anyways, they were closing down. Half-price sale. I could not figure out what this was. Now, I admit, I'm old. I'm 65. There it is. Okay, I know it's Korean. Okay, don't know. It's got a DVD. 5.1 surround. DVD. How much is it? Oh, it's $1. Okay, I'll buy it. Well, what is it? It's Buddy That Does Gangnam Style, doing a remake and mix CD. I watched a bit of the DVD, and the opening song kicked. It was really rocking. Needless to say, it descended into piano-driven balladry of the worst sort, and I kind of lost interest. But it's so weird I had to buy it. And it was worth, I think I paid $1 for it. The next group here, I went to Value Village. Value Village, I don't like Value Village. They're gougers, and they think they're smart. And so Value Village is the one thrift store where you go in and the CDs are individually priced. Because, we know what stuff's worth. So the one in Nanaimo, which is one of the few ones I actually find anything at, had a lot of CDs. They had quite a lot of every different style. But the stuff that they thought was valuable was, for example, an Electra copy of Metallica's Kill 'Em All that I am pretty sure would not play in this CD player. It was so scratched up. That was $6. So was the most recent Hawksley Workman album, $5.99. And I mean, this is what we're getting out of thrift store prices. There was a World Saxophone Quartet plays Duke Ellington, which I bought. It was $3.99, and I didn't think I had it, but I do have it. But that's okay. I gave it to a friend. I gave a few. I actually found there was a Mozart. I already had it. Give that to my friend. But because these people are idiots at heart, they decided that operas were $1.99. And I found a whole pile, and it's weird. The opera gods are saying, you must buy opera. If you saw my video recently about getting free records, they were almost all opera. Now, I'm not an opera guy, but I will make room for Love of Three Oranges on Virgin, Opera Lyon, Kent Nagano, who's worked with, amongst others, Frank Zappa. I will make shelf space for that. Listen to it. Gounod's Romeo and Juliet by Michel Plasson, another guy. If you're going to get French music, Plasson's a good guy to do it. An original instruments, Idomeneo. I've got a regular one. Yes, up there. Again, but $1.99. Yeah, I'll buy it. John Elliott Gardner. Love his work. Love his original instrument stuff. Samson and Delilah. Song. Colin Davis. This is a solid one. I don't know this piece really at all. But again, I'm happy to have it. Hansel and Gretel by Humperdinck. Would you believe I have this also in quadraphonic? Yep. Crazy, but it's true. Jeffrey Tate, Barbara Hendricks. Anyway, I bought them just because. I'm not going to leave them there. $2. So, so that was the thrift stores. Okay, I'm trying to keep this as short as possible. Then the gifts started to come in. Now, the Empress, of her own volition, often finds stuff out there in the world and thinks, Zip is going to want this. Sometimes she's right. Most of the time, she's dead on, in fact. Sometimes it's like, maybe, I know I don't need this, or, yeah, I got 4 copies of this. But the other day, she came up with a couple that I'm glad to own, but I might not have bought them if it was me. And one of them is Uncle Tupelo's Anodyne. Now, a lot of people keep trying to convince me of the greatness of this band. I'm not absolutely convinced. I think they're trying too hard to sound like they're not very well recorded. They're pretty good songwriters. Played it through, and I really liked it. I'm not sure how much I'll like it the second time. But I've been sort of able to discern that out of all of these records, this is amongst their very best. Strangely, there's a big pile of guitars on the cover. I saw the Wilco Live album. Big pile of guitar pedals on the cover. I'm not sure if that's a good sign or not. And then the Empress found this. Now, this is... I don't know. This is something... It's worth nothing on Discogs. I think it's worth $6 or something. Leather thing. The Soul Train 25th anniversary. And it's on MCA. It's... it's weird. It's a lot of this is stuff I am not super into. However, and, I kind of poo-pooed it. I was like, oh, thanks, dear. She paid, I think, $12 for this. So, gotta love it's the thought that counts. However, I put on the opening track, TSOP, The Sound of Philadelphia, MFSB, featuring the 3 Degrees. So MFSB was the sort of orchestra of Philadelphia National Records, and The Sound of Philadelphia. And you know what? It's fun. It's totally great. And there's Prince is on it. I haven't got to disc 3. There's a lot of stuff in here I know I don't really care. Whitney Houston, Billy Ocean, but Rocket by Herbie Hancock's on it. Right after Cold Blooded by Rick James. The older disc is the better one. Respect by Aretha, Man's World by James, Johnny Be Good by Chuck, Cowboys to Girls by the Intruders. I don't remember that one. It's Your Thing by the Isleys, Respect Yourself. So this is all real good. And the booklet, it's all about the show, of course, Soul Train, for you young people that don't remember Soul Train. We didn't really get it where I lived, but it's one of these super annoying books that are skinny and you're like, eh. But it is there, and it's, I think this is old. I wonder what year this came out. This is back before they figured out how to do these fucking things properly. Yeah, 95. And I guess this is I imagine this was somewhere on the back because the leather is all encompassing and there's no track listing. And of course, this would have been shrink wrapped. Anyways, I'm glad to have it. I'm gonna cherry pick the hell out of it and put the best stuff in the car. And I'll bet I'll be happy for having done that. So there's that. Next on the gifts is my friend the Ram Ace, who I gave a couple of the doubles from that last thing, and to reciprocate. And again, these are in the thrift store, folks. He gave me the complete Everything Blackadder, which is wonderful because I love Blackadder. It's all 4 seasons plus extra stuff. It's just completely crazy. I just found a new. Don't have Wagner's Ring on CD yet. It's James Levine and the Metropolitan Opera Orchestra and Chorus from about, 89 to 90 something. It's all digital. Now, Levine is great despite his unfortunate personal history, 88 to 91. Yet another one of these guys, you'll remember my video about people that make wonderful music who are actually not really great people. I think Mr. Levine fits into that category. He's passed away a few years back. But he did really great work. And this is apparently a really good ring. The Empress is going away. And when she is gone, I'm going to listen to that from stem to stern. So those are the things that either found me or I went out and got. Grand total was about $50 maybe. For lots more money than that, I received my packages from Rhino. Yes, you know what that means. Quad. Yes, sirree. Burgers by Hot Tuna, which, to my knowledge, only ever came out in a quad 8-track. I knew there was no record. Now, I love Hot Tuna. If you don't know, they were Jorma Kokkonen and Jack Cassidy from the Jefferson Airplane, and they formed a blues band, acoustic blues band, sort of as a side project, which they originally called Hot Shit. RCA said, we're not putting out a record by Hot Shit. So they said, well, then we'll call it Hot Tuna. And it kind of morphed into a full-time band, and they ultimately quit the Jefferson Airplane and did this full-time, and this is their best record. The Water Song was a staple of FM radio through 1972, 73. Terrific record. The quad is fun. The mix of the Water Song is really different than the stereo mix. The bass is much quieter. That kind of doesn't excite me, but still, great to have it. And it was fine. It came, plays. It's great. And the other thing I got from them was, I didn't even know this existed, but it's the Joni Mitchell box. Quad box, they're calling it, I guess. And this is a really welcome addition to the Quadio series. Only 2 of these. Hissing of Summer. It's For the Roses, Court and Spark, Miles of Isles, and The Hissing of Summer Lawns. Now, Court and Spark and The Hissing of Summer Lawns did come out as quadraphonic LPs. CD4 on Asylum. I've got them both. I've actually played them in quad once or twice, I think, but I can't do it now. It's a headache. They're really well recorded records. Henry Louis, the engineer, never was really considered the producer. Just kind of neat. And so these are absolute ear candy for the quad, for the sound quality in general. And these are records, I kind of forgot about these records. I got into them a little bit when they came out back in the early 70s. I much preferred her, what I call Yako era, the era with Jaco Pastorius. And that it's probably still my favorite era musically for her. However, I forgot how good these records were, and I have really been enjoying these. However, again, Rhino, it's annoying. One of these days they're going to get it right. This one, and this is a real kind of a nitpicky thing, but if you look, the cover of this one is completely crushed. It's all kind of bent, and it's sort of a shame because I'll give them, like this one got driven over by a forklift or something. But they've done the embossed covers, which is really nice. The matte paper. Now I suspect, I'm going to just take a guess, like Miles of Isles is, oh no, it's not, I thought it was. Oh, that's the sort of matte paper. Anyway, they've gone to, and this Hissing of Summer Lawns as an embossed cover. So they've actually gone out of their way. Oh, and they do give you this one, they give you a little thing about the Mitchell Archive. Now, this apparently is a sort of a co-production, I think, between the Mitchell Archive and Rhino. So I think there was a bit more quality control. Nice little thing from Neil Young with a thing by Joni, and very simple, clear message of how much he likes these records and how wonderful they sounded when they came out, which I agree with. Yeah, I'll put that back in there. I haven't played Miles of Isles yet, but I have played all the rest, I think. The Miles of Isles, I think the quad mix was done then, but it was never put out in quad. And I was actually having looked this up. It might have come out as a quad 8. For the Roses never came out in quad, and there was a subsequent mix by Bruce Botnick, quad mix, which I can't believe it's going to be outrageous because that's a fairly quiet, small record. Court and Spark and the Hissing of Summer Lawns, the quad is really tasteful. It's fabulous. If you're a Mitchell fan or a quad fan, you're going to want this. It was about $80 American. Ended up costing you at least 120 Canadian. The hot tuna, it was about 32 Canadian when it was all said and done. This had to go to the post office where they dinged me another $20 because they had to calculate the GST and PST, which apparently was $12. So it was $22 because it cost them $10 to make that calculation. But sort of, that's the thing. For every one of these, I got a big pile of those. So it all kind of evens out in the end. Anyway, thanks for watching. We've been graced by the Tony Sinclair Memorial Mood Light. Aunt Tony passed away a couple of weeks ago, and she was my the Empress's auntie, and appeared in movies like The Love Pill, and was a guest artist on The Beachcombers, and passed away last week. And we're gonna miss her, but we got her light, and we've got all of her archives, all of her clippings, which we've been going through. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and all that other stuff. And I'll have more stuff coming down the pipeline and on. Take care of each other, and we'll talk to you next time.